She was born out of golden fire.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a quick, fast and fun reviews on 4 fragrances that are now cult favorite, I would say, here on YouTube, especially in the perfume community. So I do have Fragrance du Bois, Minuit et Demi. I have Frédéric Malle, Portrait of a Lady. I have YSL, Babycat, and I have Dolce Diablo by the House of Nautico, or Nautico. Am I saying this right? Give me a second. Narcotica. Okay, sorry about that. Narcotica. So I've tested all these fragrances throughout the week. Some of them 1 day, some of them 2 days. And today I'm just gonna give you my quick opinion, the buy or not. So let's get started. So number 1, I have Dolce Diablo. Obviously, I've done my little sample. I got them from Scent Bar actually. They're really tiny. I'm gonna be honest, they're really tiny. So take this whole wear test with that in mind, is that I wish they were a bit bigger, but they weren't. So I did the best I could. I tested them out, get those small testers. I kind of just decant them into a little sprayer because I keep buying them from Amazon. So that's usually how I get to wear test 0.7 ml liquids. Anyways, so Dolce Diablo. What I wrote in my notes, the first burst of this fragrance is definitely chocolate, like milky chocolate. Compared to Chocolate Queen, which I felt opened more dark, this one definitely opens like a milk chocolate. It's really reminiscent to Tootsie Rolls, but also if you've ever been to Costco, I don't know if they sell it in the US, but here in Canada, we do have those little acai. I don't know if they're acai, but they're basically like blueberries and sometimes raspberry covered with chocolate. This is literally what I'm getting the first burst when I sprayed this perfume. It's really fruity and airy at first. I think it's definitely the dry fruits, but it's giving me really berry-like, orange-like colored fruits, if that makes any sense. So I'm getting this milk chocolate that covers this little punch of macerated red and orange fruits. And after this is going into the direction of a really like tonic, milky chocolate with a bunch of other things added to it that I can't really quite pinpoint. But overall, it is really sweet, really gourmand. And if you've seen my Chocolate Queen review, this for me definitely leans after the opening a bit too gourmand. There is something about it that it's reminiscent of actual food, of actual chocolate or an actual dessert that sits a bit too cloying for my personal taste. Although it is a beautiful and delectable scent, like as I was smelling it throughout the day, it's like I was both enjoying the scent but also feeling a bit sick. So that's literally my experience with it. I don't know if it's because I need to wear it a bit more. I might buy another sample that's a bit more substantial in my next sample round, but for now, from what I've experienced, this is definitely going to be a pass, just because I feel like compared to Chocolate Queen, they are different enough where you can have both in your collection. But I'm not a big chocolate fan in terms of perfume, so I don't see myself having 2 chocolate fragrances in my collection because I don't need to, and I will not be wearing chocolate that often. I still feel like praline and maple is going to be my winter scent, so I don't feel like I need to add too many gourmand or too many other scent for winter. I already have Tonkaid and I already have Chocolate Queen, which are for me already such an amazing offerings. So for me, Dolce Diablo is definitely a pass, not because it's not delicious, not because it's not actually amazing, but because I already have a chocolate fragrance, and like I said, the gourmand aspect of this fragrance is definitely too realistic for me. Like, I do like my perfume to still smell like perfume. Like, I don't want it to smell like food. In terms of sillage and longevity, this lasted a long time. Like, I was still smelling myself until 11 p.m. And I remember one of my coworkers hugged me before we went home, and she's like, "Ooh, you smell good." And I'm like, "Yes, girl." But just to say that although it kind of dies down into like a scent bubble, basically like a personal scent bubble, if somebody hugs you or is really, really close to you, I feel like they can still get whiffs of it throughout the whole day. So it definitely has a beautiful and long-lasting sillage. In terms of projection, I will say it doesn't project that much, but then again, like I said, my sample was really small, so I do tend to overspray sometimes. So I feel like if I had a substantial amount of liquid or juice, I would have had a bigger scent bubble. So for that reason, I don't think I can really comment on the scent bubble that it actually gives you. Aside from this, like I said, if you really love gourmand, you really like chocolate, you like anything that's kind of like tonic and milky, that leans in that scent profile, I would say this would probably be a safe blind buy. Again, I do not encourage blind buying at all. This perfume has been around for a while, so I think you can get decants and you can get samples, which I will recommend. But you know, if you got that money, you know, do you? So I do think it is a beautiful offering. That's usually what you tend to like. For me, it will be a pass. So the next fragrance is actually one I've been dying to test out because this fragrance has been out here for a minute on YouTube. It's called Minuit et Demi, and I don't want to mispronounce her name, so let me just make sure I have her name right. Okay, so this is the fragrance by Demi Rolling. I hope I'm saying this right. And I think this came out, oh my, maybe 3 years ago. I might be wrong, maybe 3 years ago, but essentially it is also a gourmand offering from the house of Fragrance du Bois, and I've been dying to sample this, and I understand the hype. Now right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, this is for me, I need to try it a second time. Like, I'm not done trying it once again because my sample was just so small. I feel like I didn't really get the full potential of the fragrance. But from what I had, it had me interested enough that I felt like I wanted to smell more. So it is a beautiful gourmand. It is a light. I will say for gourmand, it is really light in terms of how it sits on the skin and how it wears throughout the day. So I would say the opening and basically the whole transitioning of the fragrance for me was alike. Sometimes I don't like the opening, I love the base, and etc, etc. But for me, this perfume was definitely beautiful opening, and the dry down was just wow, beautiful, delicious. It was definitely the kind of gourmand I like because there was enough depth to it that I felt like it wasn't leaning too foodie like, but it was like dark, sultry, and really sexy and really fun. It was still light. It didn't feel like overpowering. It didn't feel cloying, which is something I'm always looking forward to. So in terms of notes, it has notes of, top note of cardamom, pimento, and bergamot, middle notes of caramel and coffee, and base notes of vetiver, cedarwood, cashmere, vanilla, musk, bourbon de l'air. No, sorry, I'm reading something that's like, okay, the list was done after bourbon. Okay, so those are the notes. I'm definitely getting a big dose of caramel, vanilla, and cardamom. For me, these are the main three notes that I'm getting through this fragrance. I do feel like the musk and the cashmere and the vetiver and cedarwood like sit really at the base to kind of hold the fragrance up, but overall it is really caramelly, sweet, delectable vanilla with a nice dose of cardamom that adds that little bit of spiciness to it, which I think is really lovely. It's definitely like a date night scent. It's an event scent. It's a, well, you're going out kind of scent. You're going for dinner, you're going to watch a play, you're going to watch a show, you know what I mean? Like you're dressing up, you're going to an event. This is not I'm lounging at home. It could be, but honestly with the price tag of this perfume, that's another level. So it's really giving me, I'm getting prepped up, I'm looking cute, I'm looking fire, I'm loving how I'm feeling. I'm gonna wear this perfume and it's just gonna be the cherry on top in terms of, you know, that atmosphere that this perfume is giving me. It's definitely unique, but I think we've had so many offerings since then that I've smelled that kind of gives you that coffee, caramel, cardamom mix. that it does feel like I've smelled this before. Although I do feel like this one is blended so beautifully that it does feel like, okay, it's not as wow as I felt like I would have felt when it came out, because cardamom and caramel and coffee notes were still kind of getting played with. Now I feel like we have so many fragrance out there that has those notes that I feel like I did smell this before. Not the same way, but definitely that same profile. I would say that I do see in a lot of reviews, it does give a parallel to Constance of the House of Penhaligon. I did not see the resemblance because I did test out Constance a few months ago. For me, it was like a pass just because of how it's too light for the price point. It's like I still want to smell it more. But Minuit Demi does give a nice punch. Like, I was smelling this perfume throughout the whole wear day, and I would say the dry down is amazing. Like, honestly, I told you guys earlier I really love the opening and basically the whole journey that this fragrance go to. But if the dry down had been the whole fragrance, I don't even think I would have like second guessed getting this or not. But because the opening is still kind of light, a bit fresher, and the dry down is definitely where you see like the big bulk of all those notes coming together and forming this like beautiful, soothing, really, ooh, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm always using that word, delectable, but it's like, it is delectable. It is really yummy. But like, again, not like real food. It's like yummy perfume, which I really like. So this is Minuit Demi, and for me it will have to be a second try, and I'll probably give you my last opinion on that later on once I really get a real good size decant. So for the next fragrance, we have the most talked about, oh my, it is YSL Babycat. Guys, I just finished my Diptyque Eau d'Huile and I'm almost done my Kayali Vanilla 28. So like, I'm definitely on the market for beautiful vanilla fragrance. So when people were saying this is the best vanilla that I've ever smelled, I was like, you got my attention. I actually still have my sample right here, and clearly from the fact that there's still some left, it wasn't my favorite. It wasn't my favorite. Let me spray it again so that we can get into the nitty-gritty of this fragrance. So if you're in Canada, you can go to Holt and Renfrew. They do have this fragrance. That's how I got my little sample. Okay, it's like, I understand why people love this, okay? It smells so elevated. It smells so bougie. It smells like you're a boss. But oh my, that leather scent, that leather note I should say, is way too much. This is a leather scent. I don't know if I didn't know this. Give me a second. Okay, I'm on Fragrantica right now, and it does say that the main accord number 1 is vanilla. Honestly, the vanilla is not present for me. I'm getting extremely spicy leather. That's it. I'm not getting the vanilla. I'm getting the vanilla at the end of this fragrance. Like, when I was saying and, I mean it's like barely on my skin anymore. That's what I'm getting, like a really delicious yummy vanilla, and that's it. And I have to like really go and sniff my wrists and stuff to really smell it. But this is not the vanilla I was expecting. A leather scent. Honestly, for me, this is straight up leather, spiciness, and the vanilla is there just to like make it smoother. I feel like that's it. There's a dryness to this too, but it is a beautiful scent. I think it's just because I was assuming it was gonna be this like divine vanilla that I'm like taking aback, and I'm like, for me, this is a pass. Because I'm not really a fan of leather like that for me to like want a full bottle of this, to be honest. But this is a really, really nice scent. This is definitely unisex. I could see this wear beautifully on a man and as beautifully on a woman. Like, it is beautiful. Like, I'm smelling this and I'm like, this is nice. I love smelling it. I don't want to smell like it. Let's just put it that way, okay? I love smelling it. I don't want to smell like it. So for me, this is why I saw Babycat. It was just not what I expected. It is beautifully blended, and like again I said, it smells luxurious. It smells like you're a boss. It smells like you're put together. It smells like you're going to like a beautiful black tie event. It's just not giving me vanilla. I will just keep it at that. It is a beautiful offering. If you like leather, if you like all those notes that I just mentioned, I would say get your nose on it just to smell it and wear it out. It is a projection beast. It projects. It gives you a beautiful bubble, like people will smell you. And I think with those kind of notes, I don't think there was any option other than people will smell you, because those are strong notes in there, honestly. So if you're looking for really strong, really beautiful, you love leather and you like vanilla, but you don't want vanilla to be the main note, this is a really good offering for that. For me, it will have to be a pass. I'm sorry. The last perfume is going to be Portrait of a Lady by Frederic Malle. And this one I actually smelled 2 years ago. I didn't remember smelling it. I just remember like spraying it quickly, smelling it and be like, oh, I don't want it. I went back to Old and Renfrew when I was getting my Babycat sample, and my sister was actually looking for a perfume for a friend, and he was interested in this one. So I'm like, you know what, let me grab a sample also and actually give it a real test so that I can see if I like it or not. This is actually what I'm wearing today. And honestly, it is not a bad fragrance compared to how I remembered it smelling like. This is every time guys. Okay, this is a rose scent. Again, if you watch any of my other videos, rose and me, it's like a hate and love relationship, mostly hate from my side. So I'm always skeptical of rose fragrances or rose dominant scent or perfumes, and this is definitely a rose dominant perfume, but this rose is done in the way I like rose to be. It is dark and a little bit jammy, but not too sweet. Okay, this has a lot of more notes going around it that it makes the rose almost like bearable. Ooh, the atomizer is nice. I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay, honestly, I thought this scent was for men. Sorry. Honestly, I thought this scent was for men, but women can wear this because the sale lady that like gave me the sample told me, no, this is a woman's scent. Well, it is unisex. Let's just say that it is a unisex scent. But now I see how this could be for a woman also. Just because I feel like I saw this a lot reviewed by men on YouTube, so I assume it was just like a male scent. But I guess that's what happens when you assume and you don't make your own research, or you don't do your own research. Yeah, this is a beautiful rose scent. For me, this leans like a green rose, if that makes any sense. A lot of rose I feel like are super sweet and super jammy. This one gives me a bit of an earthy greenness to it that I don't really see in rose fragrances. That's why for me this is really interesting. It is still a pass. I'm gonna tell you, it is still a pass, but this is such an interesting take on a rose. It is spicy. It's really refined. Like the word that really plays in my mind right now as I'm smelling this, it's refined. There's something about this too that leans really Middle Eastern for me. So let's read the notes and see what's really in there. So top notes, we have rose. Middle notes, we have black currant, raspberry, and clove. Base note, we have patchouli, sandalwood, and frankincense. You know what? Now I do smell that kind of like that smokiness in the back, but it's not too present. Like, it's definitely really faint, but it does add this layer of like allure to the fragrance. I don't really smell the patchouli, and I barely smell the sandalwood. I think the sandalwood just add a bit of depth to this, but I'm definitely getting the clove. I'm definitely getting the rose. And I think the fruits inside of this makes it really mild. It makes it really sweet, really likable. Like, this is a really elegant perfume. Like, this is giving me like a woman that stands tall. Everything is just, you know, it's really like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, her allure is really like untouchable. You know, like when you look at somebody that's just exude a certain kind of like allure, a certain kind of like refinement that it almost makes you feel like you want to like leave them be, let them be. You're like, I'm gonna intrude in this perfection. This is what it's giving me. It's giving me somebody that would have this kind of like impact. Because this scent is just, like I said, it's so elegant, it's so different, it's so unique and refined. It's a really, really beautiful scent. Like, I'm definitely gonna keep my sample for like a certain kind of event, because I feel like this really calls for a specific event. If you can wear this every day, good for you. But for me, this is the kind of scent that I'm like, I need to wear this for something like extremely specific. So for me, this is definitely a revisit, because I feel like there's just so much more to this perfume. And I think if I wore this in a setting that makes sense with it, I think I would probably fall in love with it more. But right now, it is, for me, it's just more of a wow perfume. You know, it's beautiful, it's elegant. I don't need it in my collection, but I'm happy to have a sample. So this was it for the 4 cult favorites that I've heard a lot about. So 2 of them I'm definitely happy to revisit. One of them, so the Dolce Diablo, I would say a beautiful gourmand, trop gourmand for me. Minuit et Demi, I'm so excited to revisit it with a more substantial decant. Frédéric Mad, Portrait of a Lady, I'm happy to have my sample. I will wear this whenever I feel like I find the perfect evening or the perfect event to wear this with. And YSL Babycat, again, it's a leather scent that for me does not really lean vanilla, but it's a beautiful offering if leather is definitely a note or a scent profile that you're really into. I would say it is a beautiful offering. Aside from that, this is all I have for today. So I will see you guys on my next video. So bye guys. Thank you again for watching.